Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the information session of the School of Health and Wellness. Before we begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that Fleming College sits on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe and Mississauga peoples. We offer our gratitude to our First Nations for their care of our earth and our relations. My name is Laura Gunning. I'm a student recruitment officer based out of the Sutherland campus in Peterborough, and I will be your moderator today. With me, I have Molly Westland, who is the Dean of the School of Health and Wellness, as well as Lorinda Fred, Admissions Officer. I just wanted to quickly run over the format of the event. We compiled 13 questions that we received through our Ask Us account last week after students were emailed and asked for their feedback. So we will go through those questions first, and then at the end of the session, we will address some questions that come in the Q&A. So I would just like our participants, our students watching, prospective students watching, to just type in your question. If you have it, to just type it in once. And you might just want to make sure that you listen to all questions first, as some of the questions that you have now may be answered. So thank you again and welcome. And I would like to pass it over to Molly for a welcome of our attendees.
Well, welcome to you all. And I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedules to join us today to learn a little more about what you can expect for the fall. I want to thank you for your interest in the School of Health and Wellness here at Fleming. The school has a long history of providing high-quality education in a large array of different health disciplines, such as nursing, personal support, biotechnology, health information management, our suite of recreation programs, such as fitness and health promotion, rec and leadership, and therapeutic recreation, and last but not least, certainly our biotechnology program. These health disciplines have never been more important and in demand than in our current global situation. As a Fleming graduate, I am confident that your Fleming College education will position you really well to be a highly skilled, purposefully trained person ready to advance healthcare in these challenging times. So welcome, and I'm so glad you joined us today.
Great. Thank you, Molly. So let's get started. So the first question is for you, Molly. A lot of students are wondering what program delivery is going to look like for the fall. So I wonder if you could provide some answers for that.
Sure enough. It's certainly been a very busy spring. Our faculty have been really busy. As you all are well aware, our delivery structure is going to look a little different this fall. Our highly skilled faculty teams have been reviewing and revitalizing our curriculum to find the most effective and creative ways to look at the content and to ensure that you get the learning outcomes necessary, well, by supporting you and ensuring that you have a fulsome experience. All the programs in health and wellness will have a timetable, which will allow for synchronous and asynchronous delivery. For the most part, we will be moving all delivery for theoretical type courses to an online format where you will attend your classes online with a variety of different alternative manners to get the material. In the back half of the semester, so hopefully the last 7 weeks, we will be attending labs in person on the campus. That is, keeping in mind certainly our public health and provincial guidelines. The idea in that is to ensure that we keep students safe, our faculty safe, while we're still able to give the high quality education that healthcare students need. For example, our massage therapy program has been creating really unique online courses that have pre-recorded lectures and that will outline the content for each week. They have small modules that students can choose to do. They can do it all in one sitting, or they can break it into smaller, less time-consuming methods. These will all be housed on our D2L portal, which is our learning management system. And the content from these will be recorded so that students can download, print, or review them on their own time. Students and faculty will also be meeting asynchronously each week during class time in small groups so that faculty can assess skills, and answer any questions. For more program-specific information, please contact their program coordinator. All of their contact information is available online on their program-specific web pages, and they can answer those specific questions regarding clinicals, lab, and those special details about program delivery. Thank you, Laura.
Great. Thanks, Molly. Second question is also for you. So students have concerns about online learning. How are we ensuring that the program quality is not compromised in an online environment?
Sure. Well, program quality is of utmost importance to us. Many of our programs in the School in Health and Wellness have been awarded full accreditations from their particular external accrediting boards. These accreditations are a sign of confidence that we have met strict criteria of excellence in teaching and learning. Although online learning is not the norm for many of our programs, the faculty and staff have adapted in amazing ways. Courses in all programs will include a combination of synchronous and asynchronous delivery. That will be to allow flexibility and access to faculty and fellow students. Faculty will have set times to connect with students, to ask questions and discuss concepts and assignments in more detail. We'll also make the use of discussion boards to allow for sharing of ideas and provide opportunities for students to get to know each other. Your faculty are all experienced educators and have great practical experience that they will bring to your courses with real-life examples to reinforce the concepts that are taught. As many of our faculty are members of regulated health professionals, we're really used to doing continuing education. It's required in most regulated health professions. So many of us are used to doing a lot of online learning ourselves. And as experienced online learners, this positions us really well to provide students with a great environment for online learning, because we've seen the pitfalls and the greatnesses of really good online teaching. As well, some are creating really neat collegial and social environments to support student learning and networking. For example, our Biotech Advanced program are creating virtual hallways and weekly coordinator drop-ins. This, in addition to their live office and virtual office hours, faculty will have for each of their courses. There are great opportunities for students to meet, network, and socialize. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is also for you, Molly. Look how popular you are. So we do have a lot of students that come from a distance. So if they were to switch from online to in class, what housing options would students have at that point?
So we're closely monitoring guidelines from the Ford government and the Ministry of Health surrounding all the decisions on gathering. So therefore, a decision has not yet been made on how residents will operate this fall. We will be adhering to the guidelines set out by the Ministry of Health to ensure optimal health and safety for our students and staff. We will be providing updates on our residence portal, where you can learn of new decisions regarding residences. And I believe, Laura, you're going to be posting a list of websites available at the end of this presentation.
It will be posted on the same page that the recording of this session will be on.
Great, thank you. So there are some websites available for you to look and find the latest information. So as well, in the event that you aren't able to secure a room in residence, we do have a large number of off-campus housing available for students to access as well. So
great. So you're off the hook a little bit now.
Thanks.
So I'm switching over to Lorinda. Lorinda, could you speak about deferrals, please? So we've been receiving a lot of questions from students that are perhaps thinking of deferring their acceptance from September to next available intakes.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of deferrals, it's not going to be a whole lot different than in sort of non-COVID times, we will defer acceptance within an academic year. So for those of you who have applied to programs that start in September and there is a January intake for that program, then absolutely we can accommodate that. You'll log back onto Ontario Colleges using the username and passwords you created when you first applied, and you're just going to add the January start as a selection to your application. You're not going to reapply, you're not going to repay the $95, you're simply adding the January start. For people who are in programs that don't have a January start, and you want to come next September, unfortunately, we can't defer that, so you would need to reapply through Ontario Colleges. The application typically comes out around mid-October, and then the application deadline date is February 1st, same as it was this year.
Thank you. The next question is about tuition payment and deadlines. Could you go over that for us, please?
Yeah, for sure. So we ask for a deposit upfront, and then final tuition is due. So typically we ask for a $500 deposit. This year we've halved that, so we're asking for $250. We know that it's, a lot of you haven't had jobs to go to and that kind of thing. So we don't want to make it financially unattainable. So we are asking for a $250 deposit, and that's due on June 15th, I think is Monday. So you should have, if you've confirmed your offer, you should have received a fee notification email, which would let you know when that's due and the different options for payment. The balance of your tuition is then due August 7th. And for those of you who are coming in January, again, we're asking for a $250 deposit. That'll be due November the 12th, with the balance of your tuition due on January the 11th.
Thank you. And could you speak a little bit about, there are a lot of students that are wondering if tuition fees will be reduced because programs are being delivered online. Could you let us know what the policy is surrounding that?
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, because the athletic fees, we're not sure about access to the Health and Wellness Center. I know that there will be no requirement to pay the athletic fees. As far as I know, that's the only thing at this point that's been decided.
Thank you. And could you speak about timetables? When generally are they available?
Yeah, for sure. So timetables usually come out around the beginning of August. You'll log on to your student portal, the very first tab that says, I think it says student, I can't remember what the first tab is. Drawing a blank. Anyways, right now when you go there, it'll say you are not a registered student. When your timetable is available, that's where your timetable will be. In order to have a timetable, two things need to happen. You need to have your full tuition paid, and you need to have your conditions lifted. So for any of you who are currently in high school, you have a conditional offer, which means your offer is conditional upon the successful completion of your high school diploma, as well as whatever you were in second semester, English, math, sciences, whatever. So we need that final transcript showing that you met the qualifications, and we need your tuition. Timetable will be on your student portal by the first week of August.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge that I see some questions coming into the chat. We do see them, and we will address them as soon as we run through these FAQs. So just bear with us a few more minutes. I'm switching over to you again, Molly. Could you please speak about resources that are available to help students learn in an online environment?
So certainly, there are a variety of tutoring and academic skills available. These are in partnership with our AES and Learning Design and Support team, and they've developed a new online resource for students that covers all facets of online learning. There is a web module that helps students navigate the essential skills, strategies, and resources that you'll need to thrive in your new environment. It will include how to set up your study space, how to navigate D2L, which is our learning platform, as I mentioned before, and connect with your tutor, deliver great online presentations, and more. The site URL is, well, it will also be available, but it's certainly https flemingcollege.ca.libguides.com. That's quite a mouthful. So that will be available for you at the end. And it's under the more applications in the student portal as well, or under the Fleming College Library website.
Wonderful. So continuing on with support services, could you speak a little bit about counseling, wellness, and mental health supports that are available for students?
Sure. Counseling is available to engage with students by a variety of formats, via email, phone, video conference. And for students who need someone to talk to about issues that are impacting their academic success, personal wellness counselors are available. They're available by phone as well by calling 705-749-5530, extension 1440. And as well, you can check the website for more information.
Thank you. Could you speak a little bit, please, about access to accessible education supports, especially for students coming in from high school with an IEP?
Right. So if you have a documented medical, physical, psychological, or learning disability, you may be eligible for accommodation that can help you succeed academically. Once again, I would recommend that you visit the Accessible Education website, and they can help you to register for these particular services. There are accessibility counselors available, and students can book appointments as well with the receptionist, and her name is Jennifer, and she'll be glad to help you to book these appointments with the accessibility counselors. As well, we offer a First at Fleming, which is a summer transition program, and we'll be offering a one-day informative virtual experience for all students who are registered with AES in September. The focus will be on how to successfully transition from high school to post-secondary. And once again, Jennifer, whose number will be in the information posted at the end, is available to provide you with more information.
That's great. Thank you. Molly, can you let incoming students please know about access to health services?
Absolutely. So our health services are still currently available and is staffed, and it's available for student consultations. Students are advised to call our health services with their questions, and where appropriate, nurses may be able to connect you with one of our college physicians via telephone. Students are welcome to leave a message as well at the campus numbers for our health services, and they will certainly return your call within business hours. And I will give you the telephone numbers with extensions just if you have a pen and paper ready. So it's our usual college number, 705-749-5557, extension 5504, and that's for our students from our Sutherland campus.
Thank you. Molly, will there be, so if, again, it's you, will there be tutoring available for students in the fall semester?
Yes, there will be tutoring. Tutoring and learning strategies will be available. Some of the learning strategies involve things like study time skills, time management, personal organizing, how to create study skill, like cheat sheet type things to assist students in getting through their academics successfully. And these appointments are available through WebEx, and they are booked as well through our online system. Kathleen Conway, certainly, and Laura Gibson can assist you with those. And I do believe as well their contact information will be available at the end of this presentation. So thank you.
So one last question for you, Molly. What supports are in place for Indigenous students who identify as First Nation status, non-status, Métis, and Inuit?
Right. So we also have supports available in the line of one-on-one student advising, and these are by phone, email, or WebEx. We also have transitional supports available for new and graduating students. Some of the other experiences that are available are cultural workshops and resources. We have access to elders and traditional knowledge holders. As well, we can provide advocacy and referral services to off-campus activities. There are also plans for WebEx student drop-ins. And for more information and student support services, the Indigenous Support Service coordinator right now is Mary McLeod Beaver, and her contact information will be available as well.
Yes, thank you. Over to you, Lorinda, for the next question. How will a student know what else they need to do before classes start in the fall?
Yeah, so I think I touched on this a bit. Again, if you haven't confirmed your offer so far, do that now. Once you've confirmed, you'll get a fee notification email, which will let you know again what your fees are, when they're due, and their different options for payment. Once you pay your deposit, make sure that we get your final transcript that shows that you have satisfied all the academic requirements, and then pay the balance of your tuition. Then you will have a timetable.
Great. And could you briefly go over some current or recent changes from OSAP for the upcoming semester in the fall?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I've got to read this because I don't really know a lot about OSAP. Sorry,
No, that's quite all right.
it's going to be OSAP, sorry. Okay, so it says they're increasing a loan limit from $210 a week to $350 a week. They're doubling the Canada Study Grant for eligible full and part-time students, students with permanent disabilities and students with dependents. And they're removing the expected student and spousal contributions. Students who do not wish to identify or disclose their gender identity may now select an other gender option. And the new system will now allow funding, excluding CSGPD, to issue before disability documentation has been approved. There's also some SIN validation information that was removed. Students were prevented from indicating they had always lived in Ontario if their SIN did not start with a 4, 5, or 6. That validation has been removed for the upcoming year. As well as the parents' dependent children. So if 4 or more children are listed for either of the parents' dependent children question, selecting next will present a pop-up message advising the students to verify that the information is correct. Changes regarding foreign income, the value of foreign and or non-taxable income that will generate a supporting document requirement has been reduced from 15,000 to 5,000. And the final change with regards to status with Children's Aid Society, new supporting documentation will be generated if a student answers yes to the new adopted in Ontario question. And I'm reading here that there's an OSAP information session, which entails a series of pages with key details about OSAP and other financial information. Students will have 2 attempts to answer each question before proceeding, and the sessions display after the confirmation profile information page during the application flow.
Great, thank you. And if anybody has questions, very specific questions about financial aid, you can contact our financial aid department at finaid@flemingcollege.ca. And of course, this information will be listed on the FAQs that we'll be posting shortly. Now is time to move over to some questions that are coming in through the chat. So the first one is for you, Molly. The person says, hello, I'm interested in the pharmacy technician program. This program has a lot of practical sessions. I would like to know how this program can run in September 2020.
So certainly if you're coming in the fall, a lot, as I mentioned before, a lot of our theoretical components will be available online, with the hope that we will be moving some of the practical components to lab type small group activities in the fall once the provincial guidelines have been modified from what they are currently. However, we do have a lot of ongoing relationships with different organizations in the community. And as this COVID situation continues to evolve, we hope to be getting back out into the clinical areas as soon as possible. As soon as it's more safe to do so, as soon as PPE becomes more available, we will be getting back out into the clinical area.
Great, thank you. And the next question is for you, Lorinda. Are there any plans to suspend programs in the School of Health and Wellness for the September intake? Could you unmute your?
Sorry, I forgot.
Thank you.
Not that I know of within the School of Health and Wellness. Not that I've heard yet. We've postponed other courses in other schools, but not this particular school.
Great. Thank you for that. There is a question in the chat from an international student. My understanding is that there's going to be an international student specific information session like this one, and it will cover questions about postgraduate work permits, about arrival to Canada, etc. So we do ask, please, that if you have questions that you email international@flemingcollege.ca. If anybody who is currently attending this information session, if there's a question that perhaps you haven't thought of, or maybe it occurs to you after we're done this session, you can always email us at askus@flemingcollege.ca. Now, I just wanted to ask Molly if there was anything else that you would like to add, or Lorinda, if there's anything else that you would like to add.
It's my understanding as well that some students have had some concerns about non-academic requirements.
Correct.
Right. And, you know, that's a tough one in our current situation. It's very difficult for some students to access non-academic requirements. And those are for those of you who may not be aware, those are the requirements that are needed to go into clinical placements. They quite often involve things like immunizations, TB testing. So really what we're recommending right now is that students try really hard to meet their non-academic requirements where they live. So things like doing your WMIS, your AODA compliant activities, those types of things, do them while you're at, before school starts. And then as the situation continues to evolve, to do them remotely, things like police checks, immunizations, that sort of thing. The community is beginning to open up, and so some of those activities are beginning to be more readily available. So what I would recommend is that you check our website frequently and the program websites, and we'll post information as soon as we have it. And as well, our non-academic coordinator, Jan, will be in contact as well regularly by email.
Great, thank you. Is there anything that you would like to add, Lorinda?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base quickly on welcome days and orientation. So we typically have a few days during the summer that we call welcome days, where you can look around and get your student card and all that kind of stuff. We are our student services is madly figuring out a way to do an online version of that. So that'll be the week of July the 13th. So please watch your email for an invitation to that, as well as our orientation first day will also be moving online. So again, watch your email for a schedule for that.
Thank you. Again, I just wanted to remind everybody, if there are questions that are not answered today, you can email them to askus@flemingcollege.ca. If you're an international student and you have very specific questions about your study permit, arrival to Canada, and other program queries, you can email international@flemingcollege.ca, and you should be contacted shortly with an invitation to attend a virtual information session for international students. So I believe that we have covered every question in the chat at the moment. So I believe that this is a fairly quiet group today. Must be Monday. But again, we're here to answer any questions that you may have, and this is just only the beginning of our contact with incoming students. There will be more information coming to you as it becomes available. And as Molly mentioned earlier on, your program coordinator is your best point of contact as well for very specific questions regarding your program and how the program delivery is going to look like in the fall. And the contact information for your program coordinator is on the individual programs website. Through flemingcollege.ca, you click on full-time programs, and then a screen will come up from A to Z, and then you can click on your individual program, and then you can see your coordinator's name and email address. So if Molly and Lorinda, you don't have anything else to add, then this brings our information session to an end. And I wanted to just thank everyone again for joining us today.